Hi, and welcome to our Applied Health and Exercise Science paired presentation. So periodization is a term used in the sport world for the optimum and systematic preparation of an athlete for a sport over a training period, according to Shepherd 2006. According to Gamble 2006, training variation and periodization is widely acknowledged as crucial to optimizing training responses. Applying periodized planning to team sports poses unique challenges due to the variety of training goals, volume of concurrent training and practices, and extended season of competition. The reason for making our periodization plan is because, according to Lloyd et al. 2015, as well as Farrow and Robson 2016, we need to adopt some form of periodization in the school physical education system. By integrating a long-term periodized approach within the school system, practitioners can structure sequential annual curricula to progressively build on the athletic potential and sustain skill enhancement for all young people.
Starting with the theory of periodization cycle, corresponding with Bomper and Buzzacelli 2015, Edwards 2021 explains the cycle as the use of manipulation in order to reach optimum performance from an individual or student in this case. Holmes 2022 discusses incorporating ranges of volume, intensity, and nature of training, furthermore placing these strategies into three different types of cycles, starting with macro cycle, which is the longest. For example, when linking to a school, it would be the overall academic year, leading to the mesocycle, that is the second longest, being put in place for a term time when relating it to a school, and the last of all, a microcycle, which is the smallest amount of time, being as long as a week or two. The periodization cycle we have chosen is a 3-week microcycle for Year 9 pupils, with the activity being pick-up basketball.
So the aims for our periodization cycle is to be able to understand the correct food intake for optimal performance in physical activity, students to have knowledge and awareness of progressive specifications to adapt to a healthy lifestyle, and to understand the benefits of the constraints-led approach. So what is the constraints-led approach? The constraints-led approach is an ecological model which is a form of non-linear pedagogy, is according to Renshaw et al. 2015, a learner environment-centered pedagogy which recognizes the emergent self-organizing nature of learning under interactive constraints. The three different constraints are task, environment, and performer, according to Renshaw et al. 2019. Due to the cultural reproduction of how the national curriculum of PE is and how we teach it, the traditional linear way, Jabala 2015, Armour and Harris 2013 state that the national curriculum of PE isn't doing enough to promote physical literacy for students, so they take part in PE outside of the school gates as a main target, according to widely reported evidence about low levels of physical activity. Teaching PE with a constraints-led approach can more likely facilitate and nurture the participants' development of physical literacy, according to Roberts et al. 2018. In 2019 to 2020, 44.9% of children and young people in England met the Chief Medical Officer's guidelines of taking part in sport and physical activity for an average of 60 minutes or more every day, according to the government website 2021. As stated previously by Jabala 2015, Armour and Harris 2013, the current curriculum isn't doing enough to be a motor in providing a platform for all to take part in physical activity outside of the school gates. Roberts et al. 2018 suggests the adoption of an inclusive play-based national curriculum of PE, which could be the answer to the holistic development of physical literacy. The play-based after-school club will be shown through our periodization cycle. The physical activity plan we have set up for our microcycle is street basketball or pick-up basketball. The reason why we've chosen basketball as our activity comes from Kalu 2012 and Rudd et al. 2021, who expressed that this being embedded into the curriculum would embrace both the culture of pick-up basketball and play and scaffold the learning experience, bringing it to a level that is accessible to all students in the class. Street basketball will encourage children to seek out and bloom in unstructured play, which will lead to hours upon hours of physical activity outside the school gates. We also chose this activity as a sport that uses all the ATPC system, lactate and aerobic systems. According to Hoffman et al. 1999 and Glaster 2005, as cited in Bender 2019, basketball uses all three energy systems, but the primary energy systems that are used are the ATPC, which is used in situations like driving to the basket with the basketball, and the lactate system, which is used when dribbling the ball up the court. The aerobic system does play a small role, as studies have shown a large part of the game is non-live action. The reason why we've chosen a play-based activity is to avoid tedium, which according to Farrow and Robson 2016 is a state of being bored and is detrimental to any training program. So here's an example of the introduction lesson that we would teach for Year 9 pupils. As you can see, the main aim of this session is the participants to make the decisions and play against each other. This is using the constraints-led approach as the task constraints. In this case, the rules and regulations, according to Hamilton et al. 2002, are being tailored by the participants themselves to then be played under. What's got to stick by the end of each after-school club and by the end of this microcycle is the fact that each participant can recreate this outside the school gates with their peers.
Going into detail with regards to nutrition and the important part it plays with a child and their physical performance. For a child on average of the ages of 13 to 14 years old, a male's food intake should be hitting 2,500 calories per day, whereas a female should be reaching 2,000 calories per day, according to the Public Health of England 2021. The main three components of a diet is protein, which increases muscle mass and aids recovery, then carbohydrates, which supplies the body with energy, and lastly fats, although it is not the most beneficial when relating it to an active child, according to American College of Sports Medicine 2009. But the correct fats contain energy for the body. Alongside these, vitamins and minerals are another element towards a dietary intake. The best two for children of this specific age would be calcium, as it builds bone density, which helps with the decreasing risk of injury such as broken bones, then also iron, which carries oxygen throughout the body, according to the Kids Health 2021. What food does a student of the ages 13 to 14 now need on an average day before thinking about physical activity? Well, from the Eat Well Play guide shows a pie chart of the different components of what should be included within a person's diet per day. Proteins such as meat and eggs, which on average boys of this age should be consuming 42.1 grams per day, whereas girls need to be taking in 41.2 grams per day. Carbohydrates, which can be recognised as bread and pastas, which boys should be consuming 333 grams per day and girls require 267 per day. Leading to fruit and veg, such as apples, tomatoes, carrots, all children should be consuming 5 of these throughout the day. Then lastly, dairy, which is known as milks or cheeses, which are sources of calcium, therefore boys having 1,000 milligrams per day. On the other hand, girls needing 800 per day, which were all recommended by the Public Health of England 2016. A day of food for a child with a PE lesson. Active children need a higher food intake as they need to replenish their energy and restore their working body back to its resting state in order to play again, according to Heleco 2021. Before practical sessions, Beers 2014 claims that a child should consume a high carbohydrate meal 3 to 4 hours before participating in physical activity, then be encouraged to have a small carbohydrate snack again 1 hour before to ensure an energy restoration before they're partaking in their activity, ensuring full energy expenditure is met in their performance. After practical sessions, Semeco and Schatzman 2021 put forward that it is essential to have a post-physical activity snack because the student's body will be lacking energy and need help with recovery. A need to restore the glycogen cells and regrow muscles with a fixed carbohydrate and protein snack in order to target the body's needs.
So this slide is focusing on the likely short and long-term adaptations from taking part in our 3-week microcycle. Firstly, the likely adaptations from immediately taking part in exercise include, according to Farrell and Turgeon 2021, is increased stroke volume, decreased blood volume and blood pressure, growth of mitochondria density and capacity, and increased insulin sensitivity within the skeletal system, which plays a large role in glucose metabolism as both a consumer of glucose and a storer of glucose. As explained before, this microcycle is a platform for the students taking part to realise that all they need is a basketball hoop and a football/basketball to play street basketball whenever. Constraints-led approach is underpinned by ecological dynamics and non-linear pedagogy, which offers appropriate affordances that promote sensible play that can be transferred to other contexts, such as from the PE sports hall to the ball court in your local area, according to Chow et al. 2021. The students who will take advantage of this platform and regularly play street basketball will likely experience these adaptations according to Sport England 2022, NHS 2015 and Ross and Levitt 2001. These include weight control, increased energy levels, regular exercise increases happiness and self-worth, which means you are less likely to suffer from depression, stress and anger. It also increases aerobic capacity, increases metabolic health, which equals losing weight, and it increases use of aerobic metabolism and bone density.
Benson 2020 discloses a various amount of immediate and long-term effects with accordance to a correct nutritional intake for these students if they was to take part in the periodization cycle. Immediate effects of the correct nutrition intake include consistent energy levels, increased physical performance, higher focus tolerance, and better mindset. Alongside long-term effects of better nutrition, such as better mental performance, fewer unhealthy cravings, better digestion, a healthier weight, and a decreased prevention of health.
Thank you very much for listening. These are our references.